Hey you, and welcome to lesson 27. Today we are going to take another new tense, and that is the past continuous. We will also learn new idioms. Off the hook, easy peasy, can't believe my eyes. And we will also talk about the difference between and among, and different uses for the two. All right, so let's get to it. So today we are going to talk about a new tense, and that is the past continuous. First of all, let's talk about how to structure the past continuous sentence. First, we start with the subject, he, she, it. If we use he, she, it, the auxiliary will be was. If I use we, you, they, the auxiliary will be were. Then we will put the verb plus ing. So the verb in the continuous ing form. Okay, let's take a look at some examples. My head was aching. Everyone was shouting. Last night at 6 p.m. I was eating dinner. Negative form of the past continuous is we just add not after the auxiliary as usual, and that will make it I was not sleeping, you were not working, he was not coming. The contraction form of was not is wasn't. So she wasn't reading War and Peace. It wasn't raining. We weren't shopping, and they weren't watching a film. Now, the question form, we just start with the auxiliary followed by the subject to make it a question. So we make questions like, was I listening? Were you working? Was she working? Were we eating? Were they studying? So this is how you make the question. Now, if you have WH question, as usual, you add it to the very beginning of the sentence, and the rest of the sentence follow the same structure. So we will put the question word first. We will put the question word first, followed by the auxiliary, followed by the verb, followed by the subject, then the verb. Why was I working? Where were you living? How was she traveling? And so on. Okay, now let's talk about the uses of the past past continuous. When do we use the past continuous? We use the past continuous for an action in the past which overlaps with another action. What does that mean? An action that happened in the past, but it intercepts or intersects another action that happened in the past. It means something in the past happened during something else. Let's take a look. Let's say this is the past. Oops, okay, let's say this is the past and this is the now. Okay, I was cooking dinner. Sometimes in the past, I was cooking dinner. And then the phone rang at this point. It interrupted my dinner cooking. So something was happening in the past and another thing happened that interrupted it. We use the past continuous. So basically, two things happened in the past. One interrupted the other. Then we use the past continuous. Let's take a look at some examples. I was walking to the station when I met John. So there was something that was happening. What was it? I was walking. What happened when I was walking? Something else happened and intercepted or interrupted my walking, and that is meeting John. Okay? In this case, the longer action, the one that takes longer to happen, or the one that was happening and got interrupted, will take the past continuous. And then the smaller action or the shorter action that interrupted the longer action will take the past simple. So I was walking to the station. You know, it takes a while to walk to the station. So let's say it'll take 30 minutes to walk to the station. And then during my walk, I met John. So that is the short action that interrupted the longer action, which was the walking to the station. So I met John during my walk. So this one will take, this one will be simple past, right? And this one will be continue. There's no space to write the rest. So continuous, all right? So I was walking, longer action, I met John, shorter action. Shorter action interrupted the longer action. Let's take a look at another sentence. At 3 o'clock, I was working. At 3 o'clock, I was working. All right, this is an overlapping action. It means I was working at 3 o'clock. Some things that happen after and before at a specific time. I started before 3 o'clock and I finished after 3 o'clock. So something that happened before and after 3 o'clock. At 3 o'clock, I was working. At that point in time, at 3 o'clock, I was working, but my work started before 3 o'clock and it finished after 3 o'clock. Okay, so I started before 3 o'clock and I finished after 3 o'clock. The same way we can use the past continuous for the background of a story. Normally, if we're telling a story, we normally tend to start that story using the past continuous. Like for example, the birds were singing, the sun was shining, and the cafe people were laughing and chatting. Okay, or you can say, I was walking in the woods when I saw a lion. Normally, when you start a story, you start with using the past perfect, the past continuous form. Okay, the third use of the past continuous is temporary habits. Temporary habits that happen more than we expect in the past. All right, let's take a look at an example. But here, just to clarify, we use always, constantly, or forever. This is the same way we use the present continuous for habits, but the habit started and finished in the past. This doesn't happen now. So we talked about habit in the past that happened over and over and over again. They happened more than we expected them to happen. And for these, we will use always or constantly or forever as indication. So let's take a look. He was always leaving the tap running. You know, the tap, that is where the water comes out of in the kitchen or in the bathroom. He was always leaving the tap running. So that was a habit that happened over and over and over in the past, and it doesn't happen anymore because she probably yelled at him and now he doesn't leave the tap open. He just doesn't want to get yelled at. Next one is, she was constantly singing. It means that was a habit that happened for a long time and doesn't happen anymore. She was constantly or continually singing. I was constantly feeling alone. I was always feeling alone. They were always fighting. They were always fighting. Does that mean they're still fighting? No. They were always fighting. They probably got divorced. Okay. Number 4, we use the past continuous to emphasize that something lasted for a while. Okay, this is often optional. We use it with time expression like all day, all evening, or for hours. Okay, so let's take a look at examples. First one is, I was working in the garden all day. Okay, so to emphasize that something lasted for a while. Something took a long while to finish or to complete. I was working in the garden all day. He was reading all evening. They were driving all day. So to emphasize that this action happened in the past, but it took a long time to finish. Okay? Remember, you can't use this tense or any continuous tense with stative verbs. Stative verbs are verbs that don't they don't normally take the ing form. They don't take the continuous form. Stative verbs are the opposite of action verb. Action verbs, they take the ing form. Stative verbs, they don't. Stative verbs are normally emotional verbs. Verbs that talk about emotions or feelings. We will talk about stative verb in more details in the coming lessons. All right, so now let's move on to conversation and learning new idioms to help us with our speaking. First idiom that we are going to learn today is off the hook. Off the hook. What does that mean? You know, this is a hook, right? This is, whoops, we're not supposed to, okay? This is a hook. You know, a hook is something like this. Hook. You use it for fishing, so you catch a fish with a hook, or, you know, hook. So, if you are off the hook, what does that mean? That means you are free of a difficult situation. It means something that was bothering you and you are free from it now. Let off from a blame or trouble. That means you're no longer being blamed or no longer have to deal with something unpleasant. So basically, if you say someone is off the hook, or if you say I am off the hook, it means I got away with something. I don't need to worry about it anymore. It means that I'm not in trouble anymore, or I'm not the one to blame anymore, or, you know, I don't need to deal with a difficult situation anymore. It means I'm free to go and I am off the hook. Let's use it in examples and sentences to clarify the meaning further. First example, thank goodness I'm off the hook from working tomorrow. I asked Jane if she could take over my shift and she agreed. So why is he off the hook? Because he doesn't have to work tomorrow. He is off the hook because he is not working tomorrow. Okay, let's take a look at the next example. Since it was her first offense, since it was his first offense, he was let off the hook with just a warning. Okay, what is first offense? First offense, it means if you do something illegal for the first time. Or you do something that you're not supposed to do for the first time. Like, for example, if you run a red light. If you run a red light, you know, when you're driving, you're supposed to stop at a red light. But let's say you run a red light and the police officer saw you and pulled you over, and now they're checking your license and checking in their computer, on their system to see if you have any problems from before, and they notice that you have never done anything wrong, and this is the first time you make you do something like this. So they say, okay, look, we're gonna let you off the hook this time. We're gonna give you a warning, but don't do it again. Okay, so getting off the hook here in this situation, it means you got out of trouble without having to, you know, be blamed or be punished. Okay. Let's take a look at the next example. He was in trouble, but I got him off the hook. Okay, he was in trouble, but I helped him, and I got him off the hook. So nobody is giving him trouble anymore. They thought he did it, but he got himself off the hook when he proved that he was out of town. They thought he did it, but he got himself off the hook when he proved that he was out of town. Okay, so what does that mean? It means something bad happened, probably, okay, and they thought someone did it. So they wanted to blame that someone. But he proved to them that he was not in town. He was traveling during the time that this took place. So nobody could blame him because he proved to them that he was out of town. So he got himself off the hook. He got himself out of the blame. And now he is not to blame. They need to find the true criminal who did whatever it is that has been done. Okay, let's take a look at the last example. I am letting you off the hook this time, but be careful next time. It means this time I'm going to let you go, but next time you be careful. Okay? Off the hook. All right. Next phrase today is easy peasy. What does that mean? Easy peasy. It means something very simple, very straightforward, very easy. All right. Let's take a look at some example. Just copy what I do. Easy peasy. Just do like I do. It's easy peasy. Or he thought it would be difficult to ride a bike, but it was easy peasy once you get used to it. So he thought it would be difficult to learn how to ride a bike, but once he got used to it, it was easy peasy. Right? So simple. Come join the course. The classes are easy peasy at the start. Come join the course. The classes are easy peasy at the start. Then they get harder. It's easy peasy to shop online. A child could do it. Anybody could shop online. It's so easy. It's easy peasy. You make it look easy peasy. Once she understood it, it was easy peasy. So easy peasy means something very simple to understand and to do. Okay. To not believe your eyes or your ears. That is another expression. What does that mean? To not believe your eyes or your ears. It means something so shocking or surprising and that you can't believe that it's happening. Okay? Shock or surprise is something you see or hear. To hear or see something unexpected or wonderfully strange. Okay, so to not believe your eyes, it could be something shocking, surprising, exciting, that you cannot believe it, that is happening. All right, let's take a look at some examples. My husband is with another girl. I can't believe my eyes. This is so shocking. You know, I am shocked. I can't believe my eyes. I couldn't believe my eyes when he saw the masked men running out of the bank. I couldn't believe my eyes when he saw the masked man. Okay, there is something wrong with this sentence. Let's fix it. Not I, he. He couldn't believe. Okay, hold on. There are two things wrong with this sentence. Let's fix it. I couldn't believe my eyes when I, saw the masked man running out of the bank. So only one thing wrong with the sentence. Okay, I couldn't believe my eyes when I saw the masked men running out of the bank. Who wears masks and run out of the bank? Robbers. They probably, they have guns and machine guns, and they probably stole a whole bunch of money, and now they're running out of the bank. So when you see them, you're shocked. You couldn't believe your eyes. I see robbers, people who just robbed the bank and running out with guns. That's scary. All right. I couldn't believe my ears. Okay, so you can say I couldn't believe my eyes about seeing something, being shocked at seeing something so terrible or so exciting or so horrifying. You can say I couldn't believe my eyes. But if you hear something that you couldn't believe, then we use I couldn't believe my ears, because in this case, you will not be seeing it, you'll be hearing it. I couldn't believe my ears when the boss said thank you. That never happens because my boss is not very nice. The teacher couldn't believe her eyes when she saw Tom hand in his homework for the first time ever, because Tom never did the homework in his life. So the teacher couldn't believe her eyes when she saw him giving her his homework. Last sentence, my daughter spoke her first word yesterday. I almost couldn't believe my ears. Okay, so now let's talk about something a little bit different. We have between and we have among. Those are two words that people get confused when using. They get confused with. So let's see what is the difference. If I say between, that means in the middle of two objects. Between is you are in the middle of two objects, just like the baby. Okay, so the baby was between his father and his mother. You see, look at his father, not happy, not happy. There's a baby in the middle. All right, another common expression with between is between you and me. If you say between you and me, that is an expression very common in English. That means like, don't tell anybody, this is just between you and me. It's just like a secret, between you and me. All right, this expression means that you are going to tell somebody secret information. Promise to keep this between you and me and the rest of the world. Okay, the next one is among. Now, among, it means it's different than between, because among means the person or object is surrounded by a group of things or a group of people. Okay, just like this girl here. A week ago, I saw the teacher among her students because she's cute. That's why she's surrounded by students. When I walk out, nobody comes to me. I normally just walk alone. It's very sad. But if I was this one, then I'll be among students. All right, so this is it for today. I hope you enjoyed today's lesson, and I'll see you next class, and have a good one.